And welcome back to the Morning Blend. For those wanting to own a home, many times the question is whether to build or to buy. There are advantages to building your own home, and there are many pros to just buying an existing home. So what are things that you should consider when making the decision?
Our home buying guru, Rachel Schwab, is back from the Equitable Bank with a roadmap to navigating that question, to build or to buy. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Great to see you.
I think this is tough for people, you know, to decide on that, you know, and make that big decision, because either way it's a big investment. So you sort of have some guidelines for us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're thinking about a new home, you want to just keep in mind what is going to work for you and what might be the best idea.
Because I think a lot of people face this question, and life gets more complicated, especially if you have kids, and then you're thinking about things like schools and how close you live to school and how close you live to a lot of other things. So I think this is a great kind of list to go through in your mind. So the first thing is convenience, and really buying an existing home is easier because you're not making every decision from the ground up.
Yeah, building a house, while it's super fun, really takes a lot of patience. You're going to have to go through all these choices, which, you know, when the house is built, you'll go, who chose that? Because you don't remember. But it does. It takes a lot of time and a lot more effort than buying an existing home.
Another thing to consider is location, right? Because you may not be able to get the exact location you want when you're purchasing or building.
Well, on the flip side of that would be, oh, I really want to live in this established neighborhood. I want to live by this school district. I want my kids to go to school here. Well, for example, if you want to live in the Whitefish Bay area, well, you're not going to find land really to build in Whitefish Bay. But if you want to live maybe out a little bit further, maybe a little bit west or a little bit south, there's some great lots out there that you can buy if you want to be part of the start of a new neighborhood, which is exciting.
A lot of things to consider as it relates to location do have to do with schools, I feel like, if you have kids.
Yeah, if you have kids or you're thinking about having kids at some point, school districts are a really big deal. So that's something that you want to keep in mind regardless of buying or building.
And what about the choices then, and doing part of that? Because the biggest benefit to building, you say, is the ability to make those choices. So while it's a burden, it's also kind of exciting.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's a burden. It's a little bit harder to do. I mean, that's what the appeal is to building, right? Is that you can get exactly what you want. I want this over here and that over here, and this is the faucet I want, and this is all of these choices are all up to you, and you can do that. But you know, with an existing house, you don't have the stress of picking out those choices, but you're limited, obviously, to what's on the market.
I'm so indecisive. I think it would take me forever to build
Well,
a home.
and you know what? That's something to think of. If you're not someone who, if you get stressed out by having to make all those choices, and you can't visualize what they'll all look like together, then maybe building isn't for you.
I'd be afraid of the commitment of that faucet. I'd be like, if I pick that one, I'm stuck with it forever.
Faucets are pretty good. You're really not stuck with a faucet forever. I can probably do it for you if it comes down to it.
Right? How about cost? I mean, you clearly have to weigh out the benefits and you know, whatnot of building versus buying.
Yeah, generally building is going to be a little bit more expensive, you know, per square foot. But sometimes if you buy an existing home, there's going to be other repairs, things like, you know, roof repairs and HVAC, things like that you might have to do up front as well. Or later down the road, you know, 10 years in, you might have to do something that you wouldn't have to do with a new home, or energy efficiency kind of things. So it really is more of a personal choice, but your upfront cost is probably going to be a little bit more with building. And again, it just depends on where you're looking, all that kind of stuff.
I always wonder too about the loan process when you live in an existing home and then you're going to build, because you know, you might have a mortgage on the home you're living in, but then you need to borrow money to build a new home. Is that something you can help people with?
Oh, absolutely. We have people who have been doing construction lending. We have loan officers and we've got processors that have been doing construction lending for years and years. They are experts at it. We have a single close construction loan to make it easier, because there are things like draws. It's a different type of loan than if you go and buy an existing house. So you want to have people who know what they're doing. You're going to want to get a good rate. You're going to want to make sure that they're on top of making sure that the stuff you're paying for when they draw that money out for your loan, that stuff is taken care of, that they've had someone go and check to make sure that all the rough plumbing has been done, or the electrical, or whatever it is that they're working on. So you definitely want to work with an experienced lender like the Equitable Bank.
Yeah. What do we need to know about rates right now? Because they went up a little bit overnight.
They did, and you know, the Fed has been talking about that for a long time. So yesterday they did announce that the rates went up. Luckily for homeowners, rates are still potential homeowners even, rates are still really low. A couple of months back, they kind of ticked up a little bit. I think we had talked about that before. They ticked up a little, but they were building that in so that it wouldn't be this big sticker shock.
Yeah.
It didn't tick up a lot. It's not a big thing. It's nothing that people should be worried about as far as having to buy or build a house. I don't think you're going to see any real big difference.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And you guys are at the MBA's Home Building and Remodeling Show coming up January 8th through the 10th. That's at the Wisconsin State Fair Expo Center. So you can check out the Equitable Bank there, or you can give them a call now to find out just what your options are if you're thinking about building or remodeling or buying maybe your first house. Their phone number is 414-777-4411. Or you can go to the website, theequitablebank.com. Always
Thanks,
great
Rachel.
to see you.
Thanks
Happy
for having
holidays.
me. Happy holidays to you too.
Thank you.